The Little Mermaid. Many mermaids lived in this palace, but the youngest was different from all the others. Her name was Aura. Aura did not like to stay in one place. While her sisters gathered around shell mirrors, trying on their jewelry, she swam up and down, stopping by the palace windows to look toward the light. "Are you looking up again?" one of her sisters asked one day, laughing. "There is something," Aura replied. "We just haven't seen it yet." Her sisters exchanged glances. "Grandmother," one of them called. "Tell her there's nothing interesting above." The grandmother smiled and set down her basket of seaweed. "Oh, there is," she said calmly. "Very much so." Aura immediately swam closer and sat beside her. "Tell me," she said, resting her chin in her hands. "Above there is the sky," the grandmother began. "Sometimes it's blue, sometimes pink, and sometimes it looks as if someone spilled paint across it." "And people?" Aura asked. "Noisy," the grandmother said with a laugh. "They talk a lot, laugh loudly, and they can't swim like we do." "They can't?" Aura was surprised. "They walk," the grandmother replied, "and that is enough for them." Aura fell silent. Walking sounded strange, but also deeply intriguing. When the day came that Aura was allowed to surface for the first time, the Sea King called her to him. "I know you've been waiting for this day," he said. "Just don't go too far." "I won't," Aura promised. "I'll only look." She swam upward for a long time until the water around her grew lighter. When her head broke the surface, Aura froze. "Oh," she whispered. The sky was enormous. The wind touched her face. In the distance there was a ship, lit by lamps and filled with people. "Are those them?" she asked herself. She moved closer carefully. Music and laughter drifted from the deck. People danced, and a young man stood slightly apart, gazing out at the sea. "You're not dancing," Aura said softly. "Why?" The prince, because he was a prince, smiled and shook his head as if declining an invitation. "Later," he said to someone beside him. Aura did not understand the words, but she understood the voice. Suddenly the sky changed. The wind grew stronger, the ship rocked, and the music stopped. "What's happening?" Aura whispered, gripping a rock. People began to run. Waves rose, and one crashed against the deck. The prince slipped and fell into the water. "No!" Aura cried, diving without thinking. She swam fast and strong. She found him and held on. "Breathe, please," she said as she pulled him toward the surface. When they reached the shore, Aura laid him on the sand and stayed beside him. "You'll wake up," she said, holding his hand. He stirred, drew a breath, and opened his eyes for a moment. Aura smiled, but then she heard voices and hid behind the rocks. "There's someone there," a girl shouted. People came and carried the prince away. Aura stayed in the sea, watching until they disappeared. "You're safe," she said quietly. "That's what matters." When she returned to the palace, her sisters surrounded her. "Where were you for so long?" one asked. Aura sat down and looked at them. "I saw a human," she said, "and I saved him." Silence followed. "A human?" the grandmother repeated softly. Aura nodded. "I want to go up again," she said. "But this time, I want to stay." The palace hall grew quiet, not with awkward silence, but with the kind that comes when everyone understands they have heard something important. "Stay?" one sister repeated. "Up there?" "Yes," Aura replied. "I want to live where humans live." The Sea King rose from his throne. He did not look angry, only thoughtful. "You know this isn't a simple visit," he said. "The world above is not made for us." "I know," Aura replied. "But I want to know it, not just watch it from below." The grandmother placed a hand on Aura's shoulder. "Your heart is already above," she said gently. "Your body is still here." Aura looked at her. "Can both be in the same place?" The grandmother sighed and shook her head. "There is a way," she said, "but it is not easy." Her sisters stepped closer. "What way?" they asked together. "There is a sea witch," the grandmother said. "She knows how changes are made." The Sea King did not look pleased, but he did not stop the conversation. "If you go to her," he said, "you must know what you want and what you are willing to give." Aura nodded. "I want to be human," she said clearly, "and I want to keep my voice." The grandmother looked surprised. "Most do not think of that," she said. "I do," Aura replied, "because without my voice, I won't be able to say who I am." Next day, her sisters walked her to the edge of the coral garden. If it becomes frightening, one of them said, come back immediately. I will, Aura smiled. I promise. The sea witch did not live in a dark cave as people like to tell. Her home was old but tidy, with shelves of jars, books, and strange objects that glimmered softly. I know why you're here, the witch said before Aura spoke. They all come with the same dream. Mine is not the same, Aura said. I want to go above and remain myself. The witch studied her carefully. So you will not give me your voice, she said. That is new. I can't, Aura replied. With it I speak, ask questions, and laugh. The witch thought for a moment. Very well, she said. You will pay with time. With time? Aura asked. You will have to learn, the witch explained. To walk, to live among humans, to make choices. It will not be easy. And if you wish to return, you will be able to. Aura did not hesitate. I agree. The witch prepared a potion that was not frightening but smelled of herbs. Aura drank it and felt the water around her shift. When she woke, she lay on the sand. Her legs were where her tail had been. I can stand, she said, and laughed because that was the first thing she did. Walking was not easy. The first steps were unsteady, but she did not fall. She swayed, then straightened. I'll learn, she told herself. At the prince's palace, everyone was surprised when she arrived. He recognized her immediately. You're the one from the sea, he said. I heard your voice then. Aura smiled. I am, she said. I'm glad you're well. The prince welcomed her into his palace. She learned new things every day, how to walk through long corridors, how to eat at a table, how to speak to people without fear. Sometimes it feels strange, she admitted one evening, but I like it. And I like that you're here, the prince said. You bring movement. They walked through the gardens, spoke of the sea and ships, of life beneath the water and the horizon seen from land. Time passed, not a day or two, but enough for Aura to feel at home. She wrote letters to her sisters and released them into the sea. Sometimes they came near the shore and waved. I'm well, Aura would say, and I'll visit. One evening, the prince looked at her seriously. I want you to stay, he said. Not because you were a mermaid, but because you are you. Aura smiled widely. I want to stay too, she replied. But I want to be able to return. The prince nodded. Then we'll find a way. And they did. With the help of the witch and the Sea King, an agreement was made. Aura could live as a human, and the sea would always welcome her back. At the celebration that followed, everyone danced. Aura danced and laughed, and her voice rang clear. I'm glad you chose yourself, said the grandmother, who had come to see her. So am I, Aura replied. When she looked out at the sea from the balcony, she felt no sadness, only gratitude. We'll see each other again, she said to the waves. And the waves seemed to nod.